Hello, I'm Steve Outlaw, the Executive Director of the Florida Public Safety Institute. It's with pride I'm here to introduce you to the training program you're about to see, which is called Hurricane Preparedness for Surface Mining. This program is produced by the Florida Mine Safety Program, whom the Florida Public Safety Institute works closely with and supports. The Florida Public Safety Institute actually provides a staging location for disaster storm response teams from crews, co-ops, law enforcement, and first responders. That's part of the reason we so strongly support and recommend this training program on hurricane preparedness for surface mining. This video program will identify 6 major flaws that occur in many surface mining storm emergency plans, and it shows you how to avoid these flaws and for your mine to be better prepared for tropical storms and hurricanes. I urge you now to pay close attention to this training program. I also seriously urge you to prepare your mine and workers for storms well in advance of storm season to save lives and better protect your mine and equipment. Storm strength, forward speed, and damage can vary minute to minute and hour to hour. So prepare now ahead of storms to be safe and to save lives.
When we see that tropical storm or hurricane radar, we know that these storms can injure or kill miners and employees and severely damage or destroy mining plants and equipment. That radar image of a storm coming in our mine direction during storm season sounds an alarm for us too. Set up the Storm Emergency Center. Prepare the maintenance and repair shop. Secure the warehouse and welding areas. Prepare the primary and secondary crushers and conveyors, and inspect water pumping systems. Now, in this program, we emphasize well in advance, repeat, well in advance of tropical storm and hurricane season, take your storm emergency plan, review its contents, and even now, practice identified procedures in the plan. Mine managers across the U.S. have, in essence, created storm emergency plans for numerous mines. So we're not going to spend all day forever helping you create the perfect storm plan. After talking to many mine managers and reviewing their storm plans, we're going to identify 6 major flaws found in many plans and tell you how mine managers advise you to avoid these major storm plan flaws. The identified flaws are power shortages during and after storms, failure to prepare for flood zones both inside and outside mines, inadequate manpower and time for pre-storm plant and mine preparation, incomplete storm strength information for miners and employees, lack of education for employees to prepare their families and their homes, and finally, failure for supervisors to hold after-storm performance meetings. Mine supervisors say that long before hurricane season, you need to plan for backup power that will be possibly needed during a storm and after the storm has passed. The majority of time, power for your mine and equipment is going to come from an outside power grid that is operated by a utility and a power company. Also, there will be substations receiving power and then transmitting it to your MCC rooms and to your equipment. Utility companies supplying power may turn off power grids well in advance or arrival of a storm, and also storm damage may disable power grids for days, months, or even up to a year. When using any alternate or backup power, remember this rule on alternate or backup power. You need to disable and turn off the disconnects at the power source or power substations for any equipment before connecting new backup or alternate power to current mine equipment needing replacement power. This prevents a backflow of power, which can cause fires, or even human fatalities and deaths. Outside power grids may be turned off before, during, and after a storm. So this means that you need to plan, arrange for, and prioritize backup power for critical mine areas first. Mine managers tell us before a storm, you'll already have on property some diesel-powered generators to operate water pump systems. In addition to in-place existing mine generators, prior to a storm, you can contact equipment providers to sign pre-storm contracts to rent additional diesel-powered generators if they are needed after storm passage. It is critical to keep water pump systems working to move possible flood water out of the mine operating areas and also to maintain proper safe retention pond levels that may supply processed water to your plant. Next, mine managers emphasize to have diesel-powered generators capable of providing power to offices and to your mine storm emergency center. Now, in some cases, even mobile diesel-powered welding machine generators can be used for this. You must keep your storm emergency center operating to provide storm updates, hurricane watches, and hurricane warnings. Also, the Storm Center will be used to schedule and monitor all miner and employee pre-storm mine preparation activity and to ultimately possibly give evacuation orders. As we've said, consider signing contracts with providers who can get you backup power generators if needed to supply power to fueling stations, general maintenance shops, and a wide variety of other equipment. So now, well in advance of storm season, analyze, plan, and arrange for backup power that may be needed during a storm and possibly after a storm. There are many different sources of maps with flood zones data in your area, and even tropical storm and hurricane storm surge mapping are available. Also, data exists on locations of creeks, streams, lakes, rivers, or offshore waters and potential flooding from them. Data about these waters is an important source of planning for your pre-storm, during storm, and after storm activities. Now, many mine managers say, look, I don't have time to look at that. I will leave all of that to the weather forecasters and TV weather people. This attitude can be a major flaw in your storm emergency plan. You need to use maps and flood data, along with physical in-person inspections of your mine to plan for storms and potential flooding of the mine. First, look at your mine entrance, usage, and your exit roadways. Using data from flood zone maps and even from in-person inspections, will flooding here prevent roadway usage, evacuation, and even re-entrance to the mine? After evacuation orders are given, you don't want employees and miners trapped by flooding at entrances and exits. Analyze now potential flooding here. Second, combining flood zone maps and in-person inspections, where are the highest mine elevations that you can identify to put your storm emergency center in, but also to move haul trucks, front-end loaders, manned lifts, and forklifts to, so that hopefully this equipment and work vehicles will be out of the flood waters. Third, where are your impoundment and retention pond areas located? In the event of the worst flooding, are the berms, dikes, and the spillway piping areas in good, stable condition? Fourth, in person, identify mine elevation and topography changes. Where are areas where rain and floodwaters can come raging down and drown people, wash vehicles or heavy equipment away, and cause danger and, yes, even death? While here, locate creeks, streams, rivers, lakes, and other waters in or around the mine that could cause dangerous flooding. use mapping and physical inspections to gauge potential flooding and to take safe actions now before storm arrival. Mine supervisors who've been through previous storms tell us that one big potential flaw in any storm plan can be failing to have sufficient time and numbers of miners on location to safely perform all pre-storm mine activities and preparation. We all know the drill. Set up the storm emergency center. Fuel all vehicles and mobile equipment. Move the mobile equipment to the proper designated high locations. Tie down all conveyor belt lines. In repair shops, secure the welding areas and the welding machines and generators. At all crushers, tie down the belts, and other areas, remove any items which can be airborne and cause damage during a storm. Inspect impoundments, retention ponds, berms, and dikes. Inspect and secure all MCC rooms and electrical equipment. Now you're probably asking, well, wait a minute. Why, if we have our normal number of employees, could we possibly have a shortage of employees and time for storm preparation duties? The answer may surprise the heck out of you. Mine supervisors say that one of the biggest reasons for a shortage of miners and time to perform pre-storm activities and duties is the possibility that a storm can increase in its intensity, pick up forward speed to enter your area, and or change course unexpectedly. Any and all of these actions can reduce preparation time by 50 to even 60%. So all duties must be done in a shorter time, and the existing pre-planned staff numbers may not be able to perform all activities within that time. Mine supervisors give this advice to help you avoid this possible problem. In advance of storm season, have a meeting with every single department manager in all departments and areas of the mine. Now, discuss in detail the actual pre-storm duties that must be performed. Have every department manager calculate how many employees will be needed. Identify how much time in normal hours will be needed for all of the pre-storm activities to be completed. Then, for storm time arrival, increased intensity, and or change of course planning, calculate that you may have only half of the time that you planned for to complete these activities. Adjust and increase your completion deadline in hours, and with the same number of employees, form a plan to complete these activities correctly in half of the original specified time. Even run practice drills to prepare for safe worker speed and reduce time for all activities. And one final note, in the hours before predicted storm arrival, some employees may panic, drive away, prepare their homes, and evacuate the area, and not even show up for work at the mine. Plan for this possibility and adjust times accordingly for pre-storm preparation activities. A special note here, the mine manager should appoint a weather clerk who will be the only person to handle and transmit all weather and storm-related messages. In monitoring all sources of information for storm data, the weather clerk should be the only person gathering and transmitting all storm information. In spite of the fact that storms can possibly kill employees and severely damage mine and home properties, mine supervisors say in storm emergency plans, often storm intensity and damage are not reviewed in detail with your miners and employees. Mine supervisors say to you, listen up. Hurricane watch, hurricane warning, and storm strength detailed education will help protect the lives of employees at the mine and at their homes. Some employees may have just moved to an area where tropical storms and hurricanes can impact mines, and those employees have no true understanding of storm strength and damage. So before storm season, cover this data in detail with all employees. Therefore, a hurricane watch is issued when there is a threat of hurricane conditions within 24 to 36 hours. That's the time you have for proper safe storm preparation. A hurricane warning is issued when the eye of the hurricane is anticipated to make landfall within 24 hours, and hurricane force winds may be occurring within 6 to 8 hours. The clock is ticking. Now, just in case anyone thinks hurricanes aren't really something to worry about, and the news media blows all of this out of proportion, look at the facts. A Category 1 hurricane has sustained winds of 74 to 95 miles per hour. Dangerous winds, extensive damage to power lines and poles will occur, causing power outages. Tree branches will snap, and roofs and frame homes can be damaged. A Category 2 hurricane has sustained winds of 96 to 110 miles per hour. Near total power loss is expected, and outages of power can last from days to weeks. Well-built frame homes may sustain major damage, and trees may be snapped or uprooted. A Category 3 hurricane has sustained winds of 111 to 129 miles per hour. Electricity and water will be unavailable for days to weeks. Severe damage will occur to buildings and homes with roofs and windows being destroyed. A Category 4 hurricane has sustained winds of 130 to 156 miles per hour. Power outages will last weeks to months. Downed power lines and poles will block roads. Most trees will be blown down, and buildings and homes will suffer severe damage. A Category 5 hurricane has sustained winds of 157 miles per hour and higher. Catastrophic damage will occur to buildings and homes. Power outages will last weeks to months. Review this data in detail with employees. Protect human lives and reduce mine and home damage. And do this now before storm season. Storm emergency plans may only have a paragraph about employees preparing homes before storm arrival. Mine managers throughout the U.S. say it is a big mistake for mine supervisors not to cover family and home preparation in detail. So here are guidelines from the Federal Emergency Management Agency, or FEMA. Build an emergency supply kit. Have a food and water supply. Include normal medical prescriptions and medicines. Put in flashlights with batteries and also a fire extinguisher. Place important documents, phones, and personal items in the kit. Prepare your cars and vehicles. Fill with fuel all vehicles that you may drive to evacuate. Move other vehicles into the garage or into covered structures. If you will drive vehicles to evacuate, follow roads emergency officials recommend, and never drive through flood waters. Bring your emergency supply kit in the vehicle. Get the home ready well in advance of storm arrival. Move lawn furniture, grills, propane tanks, bicycles, and toys inside. If possible, cover windows and doors with shutters or plywood, and if not, possibly with tape. Now, if you're leaving the home, make certain to turn the power off. If ordered to evacuate, if local emergency officials order that evacuation from your area, don't delay. Leave the area immediately and go to recommended shelters and evacuation centers. Don't risk your health or life. Leave now. The storm has passed. Mine restoration and recovery have been occurring. That's it. You're done, right? No. You need to hold post-storm evaluation meetings and review critical performance, and area mine supervisors need to ask these questions and discuss them in detail. Did we secure our MCC rooms, power panels, and our other electrical equipment and protect them from storm damage? Is the outside power grid damaged? Is it working properly? Or do we need do we need backup adequate power? Now, did we properly schedule all storm preparation tasks during the hurricane watch period and the hurricane warning period? Did we allocate proper manpower for all tasks? Did we fail to perform critical duties? Can we report that our Storm Emergency Center operated correctly? And did all two-way radios that we use for communication work correctly? Can we confirm that we moved all vehicles, powered haulage, and mobile equipment correctly to the highest ground and elevations in the mine? What equipment or part of the plant was damaged because we didn't properly prepare it for the storm? Meet, report, document, and with the after-storm meeting, learn from and improve your storm preparedness performance. In closing, we may all think that we have the perfect storm emergency plan. However, with mine supervisors and managers across the country having identified these 6 major flaws, take advantage of their experience and advice. Learn from their valuable advice and guidance, and be better prepared for tropical storms and hurricanes.